Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Thursday the 9th of March. Here we have two types of tables in front of us. We have our trend traders table and our day traders table. These are the same studies but just highlighting different time frames. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That means there is a confluence between those trading time frames, and that's where we'll be focusing our attention in the videos. The tables auto update every 5 minutes 24/7, meaning that our members can see how the market stands right now in real time. So we can see from the trend traders that the dollar is the strongest currency. However, it's only the third strongest currency on the day traders. The Swiss franc is the second strongest currency on both tables, and you can see that the Australian dollar is the weakest on both tables. The Canadian dollar is the second weakest on both, and the New Zealand dollar also featured as the third weakest. So we're going to focus again on another Australian dollar pair, but we're going to focus actually on Aussie yen. You can see that the yen strength has come back into the market, and I like the idea of looking at Aussie yen. We're also going to take a look at CAD yen as well, because price is breaking lower. We've already talked about Aussie US dollar this week, Kiwi dollar as well, so you can have a look at those pairs as well for potential opportunities. So let's dive into Aussie yen. Let's just bring the chart in. And you can see here, if I actually just pop up to the weekly time frame first, we can get that bigger time frame perspective of what's going on in the market and create our sort of bigger narrative. And we can see that price at the moment came up into the 92.50 handle. It rejected again over the past couple of weeks, and now we're starting to see a break to the downside. So the Aussie was really supported recently by some data out of China, and however, the momentum of that has now begun to sort of fade, and we're starting to see the Australian dollar creep back to the downside. And you can see here prices aggressively moving lower on this weekly candlestick, especially if you compare it to sort of the few weeks before it. Now, if price is going to continue to trade to the downside, what we would like to look for is areas of support. Now, you can see here the 87.50 was the most recently formed lows back through here. So if we're expecting the weekly time frame to move lower, I would expect it to come down into the previous lows. You can also see that we've got a trend line support running through here, which has been populated using these lows through here. So if the market was going to come back down into this area here, there is a strong confluence that price could either find support at this point, or we could see price break and head towards the lower level of support, which is the 85.50. Now, if we go down to our lower time frame, so if you look at the daily time frame, for instance, you can see I've marked out another area of resistance, which is the 91.50, where you can see these daily lows have come into play. If you actually go to the 4-hour time frame and just zoom out a bit, it just kind of opens it up a little bit clearer, and you can see that price at the moment is trading through another area of support. So there's multiple areas, but from a trend trading perspective, obviously if price was to come back up into the 91.50 handle, we've got this trend line resistance running through, so that would be a nice area to get short and look for price to come back down into this trend line support in here. Or like I said, if price can break, we could head towards the 87.50. Now obviously price might not do that. If the strength and weakness of the market is fairly strong, then we could see price just continue to the downside. Now price at the moment is trading through this 90.25 handle through here. You can see these lows back in February as well, which did act as some slight support most recently, but now price has traded through. So day traders might be looking at this 90.25 for a retest short. You could even look at the 90.80 handle as well. You can see these previous highs in here. Again, if I just dive a little bit lower, you can see I've marked out that sort of double top area in there. So one or two options for a day trader would be wait for price to continue a little bit more lower, come back into this area around about the 90.25, look for your short back down into trendline support and beyond that. Otherwise, you want to look to see if price will travel back towards either the 90.80 handle, where again you'd look for that sort of double top, or a move back up into the 91.50 area, okay, which were those lows through there. So multiple different options for you to look at with Aussie yen, but I'm favouring the downside here at the moment. The Australian dollar weakening, yen getting stronger. We've got some good areas to target on the way down now. Price is starting to kind of show us that it wants to move lower. Going on to the next chart of interest then, so I really like CAD yen as well, so let's just bring in the CAD yen chart. The reason why I like CAD yen so much is because you can see CAD is weak here on both of our tables. So I was looking around the CAD pairs just to see how the Canadian dollar was shaping up. So if we go down into that pair now, you can see from, again, if I just jump up to the weekly first, you can see how price is potentially going to play out here, because we're rejecting those previous swing highs around about that 100 area, and price is now starting to break to the downside here. We've got the opportunity to maybe target the recently formed lows at 95, or we've got this area that was previously support around about the 92.50 handle, which is what we've been talking about for some time actually. When we talked about CAD yen in the past, we've been talking about getting short ever since we've broken out of this trend line support through here, and on the way down we've just been talking about looking at potential entries. And now that it's reappeared on the tables, you can see that, you know, there's an opportunity for price to maybe head down towards that level of support. So we need to look for opportunities on pullbacks here. You can see on the daily time frame at the moment we're breaking through the 99.25 lows in here. Trend line support as well is getting traded through. So to me, this is an opportunity. If the daily was to close like this, it could be a good opportunity to start looking for your short opportunities going into tomorrow. First area of interest is going to be that 99.25. You know, if price comes back up into this area, you start to see rejections again. There could be a good opportunity to trade down towards the 87.25. Then obviously if price trades through that, you've got that 95 handle longer term. So that's what I'm going to be targeting here on CAD yen. CAD yen actually looks a lot cleaner than Aussie yen, I would say, although Aussie yen, we know the Australian dollar is one of the weakest currencies at the moment, so the momentum really is with this market potentially to the downside. I mean, you can see we've just closed there now, so breakout traders, you could consider an opportunity. However, the only problem there is your early support is at 50 points, where you want to be really targeting the 180 pips down there rather than the sort of 50 pips. So that's why I'd wait for a bit more of a pullback, just to guarantee a little bit more, or to get a little bit more reward to risk ratio. Okay, so Aussie yen still looks good for the downside, so does CAD yen, and we'll see which of the markets set up for us. Thanks for watching this video. I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.